Um, so to finish off this episode podcast recording, if you're watching it on YouTube, it's the last of this recording session on our podcast. Just check it out, Trust the Bank Podcast, TTB Ravens Media on YouTube. Go check it out. Follow us on Twitter at Trust the Bank. But getting into right here, Orlando Brown. This news it's old news, but it's still relevant news. He came out and he tweeted out and he's like, I'm a left tackle. He wants to be paid like a left tackle. His dad wanted him to play left tackle. So he requested a trade. Unfortunate, but I think it's actually a great thing for the Ravens. I think this really helps the Ravens. It kind of sucks, but I think it really helps because they would have had to pay him a lot of money to play right tackle, money that they need in other aspects. We've talked about it a lot on this, in our recording session now, bringing in JJ Watt, bringing in wide receiver like Corey Davis, like that type of stuff. That costs a lot of money. And, if you're trying to extend a right tackle and extend Lamar and, all this type of stuff, you're not going to have a ton of money. So trading him could be very beneficial. A big trade that I've seen going around is trading him for the Chargers' 13th pick. And Mike Williams, typically, I still don't really understand how that works because Mike Williams, I believe, is a free agent, but maybe it's some sort of player option type deal where the Ravens just agree to a contract with him and then it's all set. That's how I assume. But I think I've seen Ravens send a third and Orlando Brown to the Chargers for Mike Williams, who we've talked about a little bit. And then also that pick. But what do you think about that move? Because I think that's definitely the most popular trade that I've seen, at least from Ravens fans, because, that's a great trade, I think, for the Ravens. But what do you think?
Definitely a great trade. I mean, I just want to give y'all a little background about what he said. It was an interview Ronnie Stanley had with the Baltimore Sun. He said, growing up in this household, if you want to play O-line, my dad didn't want you to be on the right side. Brown has said his father, Orlando Sr., played 6 seasons as the Ravens right tackle, and he told Orlando, I want you to be better than me. That meant playing on the left side, the premium side. Everybody, we all know why the left side is so premium, why it's so big. Thank Lawrence Taylor and Joe Heisman for that.
Think that whole movie, The Blind Side.
Absolutely. Now, I will say this. Orlando Brown Jr. is an opportunist. He took this opportunity to actually show what he can do. I'm not mad at it. At the end of the day, it is a business. The way he went about it, the tweets and things of that nature, I don't agree with it. But hey, he's 24 years old. He's a 2-time Pro Bowler now. So now you just made yourself marketable. You trade your trade bait or trade value. Just a couple things I saw via the Baltimore Sun, a couple different scenarios. I just wanted to shoot it by you guys. The Brown for Indianapolis 21 overall pick and 2022 second round pick. I'm not really too sold on that. Now Jacksonville, that's more appealing. The number 33 overall pick, the second round, and a wide receiver of DJ Chark. That's not bad to me neither.
That's an interesting one. I think that I actually can really like that one because it's a second round pick, but it's a first round pick because the Ravens also will be picking mid-20s, and they could package that with 33 or whatever and be like, oh yeah, boom, we're at, I don't know, 18, 17. We're possibly a guy like a Kyle Pitts at tight end out of Florida could be, or somebody like that, maybe a Rashad Bateman, those type of players. Because in my opinion, the best thing that the Ravens can get out of this Orlando Brown trade is 2 positions: get a wide receiver or get an edge rusher. Those are the most important things that they can get. And it's not like, oh, they have to just trade them straight up for Mike Williams or whatever. That's not what I'm trying to say. It's more get the picks, get the assets to be able to acquire a new wide receiver. I think my perfect dream scenario, we'll talk about the draft maybe next week, maybe the week after, but if they trade him and they get maybe they trade a second and a future second, and they end up having like 13 and they've got 25. They're like, okay, we'll trade up to top 10 or something like that. And they're like, oh, wow, hey, here's Devontae Smith. Now, likelihood of that happening, probably not super likely, but being able to get like a really good wide receiver is the priority, whether it's through the draft or getting a trade. But I think a lot more teams are less likely to trade like a valuable wide receiver asset for Orlando Brown, which is why I think the trade market could be the best. And DJ Chark is an interesting one. He's not an amazing wide receiver, but he is somebody that does have some speed.
Shows a lot of progression.
Yeah, and he could be decent. I don't know what his contract is and stuff like that. So, like, if the Ravens couldn't get a wide receiver and like they have DJ Chark in a second round pick, and they're able to trade up, and it's like, okay, we got DJ Chark, maybe on 1 or 2 years left in his deal, and then they draft somebody like a Bateman. But DJ Chark does have value. Like, they could trade him. If they got him, they could flip that asset. All that type of thing. Eric DaCosta loves trading, especially around draft time, because if we all remember that Lamar 2018 draft, I think they were picking 13th or 12th, and then they traded back to 15, then they traded back to 18, and they may have traded back one more time, but I think they drafted Hayden Hurst at 18, if I'm remembering correctly, or it was like 21, something like that. So they're out, and then they're like, oh, wait, hold on, we want to trade back up, and they trade back for 32, then they draft Lamar. And that was his first draft. And he was like, wait. Let me just rearrange this whole draft order. That's something he likes to do. If he finds a wide receiver that the organization likes, that's the type of thing that we need out of this Orlando Brown trade. Like, I don't think there's a particular player where it's like, oh, yeah, we should trade him to this team to get this player, because I don't think there is an exact player like that. Like, Mike Williams would be great. That's probably like the perfect guy that they could get, because the Chargers don't want him. He wants a lot of money. But if the Ravens could get him, something like that could be very beneficial for them. So pay attention to the assets that they get, not the players, because the players, they're not going to get some great player because, well, they are sending a rookie contract over. So, getting those contracts to match and salary cap and everything like that, it's much more difficult to get a veteran. So unless it's a young guy who shows potential, you brought up DJ Chark. That's like probably the best two guys that you could get. Is one of those. Like, we're not going to get Justin Jefferson or somebody like that. Deontay Johnson or something like that. Like, we're not going to get those guys. We're going to get Chark, maybe Mike Williams, but Mike Williams one's a big deal. But
now, speaking of draft picks, this one is the most appealing to me. The Miami Dolphins, number 17 and 22, third round pick. We just talked about, how Eric DaCosta loves to make moves. Me, honestly, at number 17, I want Terrence Marshall Jr. 6'3", athletic guy. He can go get the ball for me. And hey, we talked about it. We need that over the top guy. And honest, in my great sports management world, I don't mind letting go Orlando Brown and picking up James Hurst back up. That's me. Now, yes, he then went to the playoffs with New Orleans, but at the same time, I don't feel like he's going to demand a lot of money. I feel like, hey, I've been here before. I know how the business is. I can get him on we can get him on a good deal. Maybe about 3 years, 20 million or 15 million, whatever the case may be. But he's not one of those offensive linemen that's left us and asked for all this big money.
Yeah, I think that's very, very valuable, because he is a right tackle, so less valuable on the right side. But also, this is a very good tackle draft this year, not like a day one type thing. Obviously, they've got Penei Sewell who's going to probably go top 3 or something like that. But overall, I've talked to people that have talked to people about offensive line play in the NFL, and from what I understand is, like, offensive linemen, like, are all, like, obviously there's a couple that are really good, like a Quentin Nelson, where it's like they come in and they're just nasty and they can just destroy everybody. But like most guys, they're like at kind of the same level. But it's about the coaches, the offensive line coaches and technique coaches that are able to get them to play well as a unit together. And the Ravens have seemingly had pretty good, offensive line play the last, I don't know, 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that's very beneficial, is that the Ravens do have that type of structure. And so that gives me hope from, after what I've heard from those people that have talked to those people, is that the Ravens seemingly do have like some pretty good offensive line coaching. And obviously their scheme does help negate some of the offensive line. If there's a hole in the offensive line, Greg Roman is good at the, designing run schemes that can still work. So, not trying to knock Greg Roman all the time. He does some things pretty well. So I think it is kind of replaceable. Will you get, all pro level, Pro Bowl level? No, but you could get competent starter. And if you have competent starter across from Ronnie Stanley and Lamar Jackson in the backfield, you're fine. So I'm not too worried about losing him. Like, yeah, it sucks because it was always cool having him, because of his dad playing in Baltimore, and him being like really overlooked in the draft process and the Ravens still going with him. Like, that was always a really cool story.
Yeah, like the whole storyline was beautiful. I mean, God went to DeMatha. Either he went to either he went to DeMatha or good counsel. Either way, he played high school football here in the state of Maryland. Went to Oklahoma. Had a shitty day during the combines. But look, who took a chance on him? Us. And what happened when we didn't taking a chance on this young man? He done flourished. He's played. He's a 2-time Pro Bowler. He played like his father, nasty on that outside. Nobody got past him too much. And then you had, on the opposite side, you had Ronnie Stanley. I mean, Lamar Jackson outside. I mean, we being real, unless they brought extra outside pressure, he wasn't getting sacked from the outside. It was all coming from the inside.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, he definitely gonna be missed, but listen, we had to be business professional. We'll give you our flowers. We'll give you your flowers, and show you love. But when it's time to play against you, hey man, JJ, Jalen, Tyus, go after him.
Yeah.
he's a great guy, man. I love him. I mean, he's a good guy. He definitely will be missed, but the way the offense is, just like McConnell said, it's a plug and play. And give Lamar Jackson 3 to 5 seconds to throw the ball. All y'all had to do is move to the left or to the right or go straight forward. Open up those holes for J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards. Hell, I see us drafting another running back, but hey, once it's time to talk about draft picks and everything, we'll really dive into it. But I'm not going to be hurt. I'm not going to be hurt.
Yeah.
Especially because I know his trade value is so huge, and Eric DeCosta is not going to take a BS trade because the mastermind who he is. I mean, he learned from Ozzie Newsome, and he know Ozzie wouldn't have done that. So I know Eric DeCosta, he's taking the leap to actually make the offense better. So I know with now the trade with him being trade value, it's going to be a great reward.
Yeah.
Now, we also need to talk about this. If there are trade propositions out there, and Eric DeCosta says, you know what, hell no, we won't go. We're not letting them go yet. Do Orlando Brown conduct himself in a business manner going into this next season of making this his review year, his showcase year, to say?
Yeah.
I feel like he should. I don't feel like he should hold out. I mean, granted, you guys are technically holding out with the pandemic because y'all can't really meet up when OTA start and everything like that. So if I was Orlando Brown, I would make sure I'm in the best shape of my life. I make sure, I'm blocking with my heart and soul when it comes to game day. And, I feel like if they were to make it to the playoffs once again, even the Super Bowl, he will definitely get paid that money that he's requesting.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be a lot of fun. So excited to be bringing back all the Ravens content. Love talking Ravens. And as always, trust the bank.
Absolutely, man. Have a good one, y'all.